Hello YouTubers, today I'm pretty psyched to be doing a unboxing. Again, that's not my favorite thing to do, but I figured for this one, pretty psyched about this headphone. This is Audioquest Nighthawk. It comes in this completely nondescript cardboard box on the outside. It's got literally nothing, no branding, no name, with the exception of one barcode here, but beyond that, that's it. So upon opening the box, flap here, got these thin foam bag. Of course, it farted due to that air compression noise as I'm pulling it out, and pretty robust, hefty leather case here. Now you finally see some branding. It's the front, the back. I'm not going to lie, I'm only human. I really fell in love with the style of these. They were just one of the more unique looking headphones out there, and I purchased this sight unseen from Amazon from a store called IQ Home Entertainment. Now, this is actually the second pair that I got. The first pair actually had a tiny micro crack that formed from the inside and swelled up, so I actually returned it. No hassles at all. They are fantastic. I sent them an email, customer service got back to me immediately, says no problem, send it in, sent it in. Literally took a day to turn it back around, and here I have my second pair. Since I had no way to try these out, there's no stores near me that carries this because it's still relatively brand new. I think Sound Exchange down in New York City, I think carries them now, but I'm not sure. But at the time I was looking at it, there was nowhere that I could test these. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me go on Amazon, purchase it used, and at least they have the 30-day protection, so in case something's wrong, I could return them. So, but to my surprise, when they arrived, they were actually brand new. I mean, I don't know if you could see this here. There's that tie wrap that indicates that this is completely sealed, brand new. Likewise for that tape there simply is no way to take this case out if you don't cut that rope there. So again, this was completely brand new. So now that I got the cover removed and that little tie wrap, I'm going to go ahead and unzip this. It's one of the nicest cases for a headphone, I think, at least that I've purchased in recent memory. And within here you got silica gel on the left side, pocket for the, I assume is an instruction manual, a cleaning cloth for, I think, the wood. You get a Tidal 1-month subscription there. Now, one of the first things you're definitely going to notice is there is this wood lacquer smell that permeates, the room as soon as you open that. Protection foam there, in time to get these babies out. It comes with 2 sets of cables. Now, the way I understand it, the thicker set that's not as flexible, that is supposed to be the better one, and it comes with a 1/4-inch jack. So that's more for like home use when you have it hooked up to your amp. And then there's a thinner cable that is for portable use. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on the side. Finally, onto the headphones itself. It does come with these 2 foams to protect the wood cups from hitting the metal frame during transit. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, but first you got to get this plastic layer off here that's taped on either end. Okay, so now that I got all of that removed, here you have it. These are the Audioquest Nighthawk. They are a semi-open back headphone, and the way that they explained it, there's a lot of marketing material on Audioquest's site. I think supposedly the way that the grills are designed is in such a way that it reduces, I think, reflectance or whatever back into the headphones itself. So like modeled after butterfly wings. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any way of testing it. How do these sound? Well, they're polarizing. If you have been following the thread on HeadFi, you would notice it's either a love or hate relationship. I'm going to be straight up honest. When I first got these and I tried them on for the very first time without burn-in, I was just like, wow, what a letdown. Because historically, my first nice set of headphones were probably like the Matrix AF62s or the Audio-Technica ATH M50s, the original one, and those are more of a V-shaped signature, or at least the ATH M50 is, whereas the Matrix AF62 is a little bit more balanced because the mids are not as recessed as the ATH M50. So in general, I really don't like that mid hump. So case in point, the NAD VSO H350, a lot of people were really crazy about it. I'm going to be honest. I'm one of those people who were like those that watch Pulp Fiction and it just went over my head. Did an Omega just like, and I just really didn't know what all the hoopla was about the NAD VSO H350. They sounded great, but it just was not particularly to my liking for the sound profile that I wanted. Now, these on the other hand fit that profile, if not even more exaggerated. So like say my initial impression of this was that using my hooked up to my Sound Blaster E5 and using the EQ to lower down the 500 range by about, I don't know, 5 decibels or so, then it sounded awesome. It was just like, wow. At first I thought the trebles were a little recessed and it sounded a little bit muddy, but once I brought that 500 range down, it was just like the treble just really was there. The bass was there. So it was almost like the 500 was crowding out everything else. So again, I am not a audiophile by any means. I cannot articulate, sounds like some of those who are really, really eloquent on Hi-Fi can, but these are just the impressions of a noob, enthusiast, and to be honest with you, a gearhead, right? So again, the main reason I purchased these was first and foremost the design. I really, really love these. Then after I tried them on, I really like the comfort. I don't have a huge head, so I do know that some people said that they didn't really care for this headband suspension, and in general, I don't really care for these as well, right? Because I didn't find them particularly comfortable on the Q701s and then later on the AKG K7XX, but just say for a quick comparo in case you want to see those two side by side, here they are. Apologize for the lighting. It's that weird time of the day where the sun's pretty much directly overhead and not really shining in through the windows yet. So, but hopefully you could get a good idea size-wise of how those two compare up. And then now versus a pair of HD600s that I have on loan from a friend. Now I gotta say, comfort-wise, the HD600s are pretty good. Initially, I felt like the clamping force was a little bit strong, but over time I got used to them and they're extremely comfortable. I find them actually a little bit more comfortable than the Q701s. However, though, these, again, like I said, I debated it back and forth. I wasn't sure about the sound initially. But after I got used to the sound, I was just like, wow, these are just amazing, especially for vocals, classical, jazz, maybe not so much so for like electronic, which I do listen to some of, and perhaps rock music is actually not too bad. But for electronica, lounge, that kind of stuff, it's okay. It's not bad. Like I said, for those, I would probably have to tame down the 500 a bit. But for like, say, the spoken word, I listen to the Bible on a daily basis. It's amazingly good for that. As mentioned, just go into Hi-Fi on the thread. You're going to see, like I said, it's very polarizing. But in the end, for me, it was a keeper. First and foremost, I think, is actually the comfort. I was just like, wow, I could keep it on all day. I wouldn't say I would forget about them because they are kind of a little bit on the heavier side, right? Certainly more so than the K7XX as well as the HD600, but not to the point where it bothers me. The ear pads are nice and thick. I don't feel my ears touching inside. Perhaps my left, I guess, I don't know, my left ear is a little weird. The lobe, it does every once in a while, I guess, depending on the day, maybe I slept on it wrong, whatever, it will touch the inside. But overall, like I said, these are just insanely comfortable for me personally. Because these are leather pads, they do tend to get a little bit warm after a while. I did hear again on that Hi-Fi thread that potentially they are looking to release velour pads. I'm not sure about that, but I'll put updates in my descriptions, despite debating it for quite a while because, they're not cheap. Even used, they were $400, and I've never spent that much money on headphones in my whole life, but these are just, for me personally, I don't want to call it end game, but at least it definitely satisfied that gas itch. For now. But who knows? I mean, who knows in the future? But ultimately, again, I apologize. This is not a review because, like I said, I'm not an audiophile. I'm not going to get into the intricacies of like, oh, yes, and the timbre and the attack and delay and blah, blah. I'm sorry. I'm just not that kind of guy. But ultimately, from a new perspective, I love these. Sound took a little while to get used to, but I've come around. And it's really the comfort and the style that sold me on them. But if you do have any questions about these, again, I'm going to disclaim, not an audiophile, but I'll do my best to answer them. And that's a wrap for this video. For full disclosure, the Audioquest Nighthawk was purchased off Amazon from IQ Home Entertainment. I'd love to give them a plug because of the outstanding service they provided. Please deal with absolute confidence.